The film begins by showing a virtual game where two teams battle across different levels. To win, each team needs to come up with a smart plan to attack the other team's main base. One of the players on an esports team is Si Shoucheng, a famous gamer from China. Sadly, in one game, Shoucheng and her team lose when the other team destroys their base. Because of this loss, she decides to quit the esports club that made her famous. Her popularity starts to fade, especially after rumors spread that she cheated on a sponsorship deal. With all this negative attention, her reputation as a top gamer starts to fall apart. On the other hand, there's a guy named Wang Zhe. He works in an advertising company as a planner. People know him for his creative ideas that often become very popular. But things took a turn for the worse when he teamed up with Shoucheng, who had some unexpected problems. This caused the company to lose money, and Wang Zhe got in trouble with his boss. In fact, he got fired from his job because of it. As he was leaving, he bumped into Shoucheng, who was there to meet his boss. At that time, Wang Zhe was still upset about getting fired, so he left without saying anything. After losing his job in the city, Wang Zhe decided to go back to his hometown, Nanji. When he arrived, he met his dad, Zige. Turns out, Zige used to run a successful business there, owning the only billiard center and internet cafe in town. But things went downhill when he got hooked on gambling. He ended up spending all the family's money, including what was meant for Wang Zhe's sick mom's medical bills. Since then, Wang Zhe's relationship with his dad has been strained, even though Zige seems sorry for his mistakes. Because of Zige's gambling debts, they owe money to a guy named Zhao Jinhua, who's now demanding payment. Jinhua threatened to take away everything Zige owns, including their house and the internet cafe, if they don't pay up. When Wang Zhe found out about Jinhua's plan to take away his father's building, he wasn't happy about it. So he decided to challenge Jinhua to an esports match happening in the city. Wang Zhe said if Jinhua's team beat him and his team, he'd hand over the building. Jinhua, who wanted to turn it into an entertainment center, agreed to the challenge. Meanwhile, Shoucheng was feeling nostalgic, remembering her childhood when her father trained her to be a great runner. Her father would push her to run faster, urging her to race around the field. Back in the present, Wang Zhe and Zige were feeling really stressed after Jinhua came to collect their debt. So they decided to drink together until they got drunk. They ended up being so tipsy that they accidentally knocked over the clothes drying area in front of their house. All the clothes fell down, and to their surprise, a woman's underwear landed on Wang Zhe's face. In their drunken state, Zige explained that it belonged to one of the women renting a room in their house. Then Zige asked Wang Zhe if he would win the upcoming esports match. There, Wang Zhe confidently said yes, especially since he was known as an unbeatable gamer back in college. The next morning, Wang Zhe and Zige were found asleep in the yard. Shoucheng, who rented a room in Zige's house, woke them up. She was annoyed to see Wang Zhe sleeping with her underwear on his face. When he woke up, he was surprised to find out Shoucheng was staying there. Shortly after, Shoucheng asked about Wang Zhe's job loss, prompting him to quickly ask her to leave because he hadn't told his dad about it. Meanwhile, Zige wondered how his son knew Shoucheng, so Wang Zhe explained she's a famous esports player. On another day, Wang Zhe needed a strong esports team to take on Jinhua's team. He found Shoucheng exercising on the beach and asked her to join his team. But Shoucheng turned him down, saying she wasn't interested in returning to esports. She wanted to focus on finding a recipe for a special cake after being accused of lying about endorsing a food business. But there, Wang Zhe, hearing her story, offered to help with the cake recipe since his grandpa knew it. But Shoucheng still refused to join his team and left. As she passed a playground, she remembered her dad training her there and giving her meat floss cakes along with life advice. On the other hand, Jinhua was getting a haircut when he heard from his team that they had put together a strong esports team to face Wang Zhe's team in the city. He felt confident that Wang Zhe wouldn't find players as good as his team. Meanwhile, Wang Zhe was trying to find good sports players. He opened up tryouts to anyone interested in joining his team. People in the area were excited to participate, but Wang Zhe was confused because most of them didn't know how to play games. Even a girl group volunteered, but they weren't skilled either. So, Wang Zhe still didn't have enough players. While thinking about what to do, he noticed a woman named Gao Su at his dad's internet cafe with her underage son. There, Wang Zhe warned Zige about rules that say kids shouldn't be in internet cafes. But Zige explained that Gao Su and her son were new neighbors who just moved to Nanji. Turns out, Gao Su's husband left her, so she took her son to the cafe to cheer him up and distract him from missing his dad. Soon after, a girl with pink hair named Ouyang Nun showed up at the cafe. Zige said she liked to drink and spend time there playing games, and she was pretty good at it. Upon hearing that, Wang Zhe approached Nan and challenged her to a game, saying if she won, she could play for free at Zige's cafe. Hearing that, Nan quickly agreed to Wang Zhe's challenge, and they started playing with others in the cafe, including Gao Su. During the game, Shou Cheng showed up to watch, and Wang Zhe's team ended up winning. Upset about losing, Nan left the cafe. At that time, Jia Zhengzheng, who was on Wang Zhe's team, tried to recruit Nan, but she wasn't interested and turned him down. Meanwhile, Zige told Wang Zhe and Shou Cheng that Nan used to work at a bank because she graduated from a top university. At that moment, Shou Cheng wasn't surprised, knowing Nan was skilled at games. She also told Wang Zhe she wanted to help him win. Wang Zhe agreed, but said he had to give her his grandpa's cake recipe. After agreeing, they tried to convince Gao Su to join the team at the cafe. At first, Gao Su hesitated because she never played in an esports match before, but she agreed when she saw how much her son wanted her to join Wang Zhe's team. Soon after, Nan showed up at the cafe, saying she accepted Zhengzheng's offer to join the team. With Nan and others joining, Wang Zhe formed the team, and they took a group photo. Meanwhile, Jin Va invited a tough esports team to compete against them. Then, Wang Zhe discussed with his team and decided on positions that Zhengzheng as tank, Gao Su as fighter, Nan as offliner, Jin as mage, and himself as core. At that time, Shou Cheng, acting as the team coach, gave them a pro account to practice. But they didn't realize they were matched against Jin Va's team, and they struggled to keep up. Then, Shou Cheng explained that the opposing team was known for defeating others without mercy. After the match, they all went to a cafe to talk and bond. Zhengzheng explained that he wanted to join Wang Zhe's team because if they won, he'd use the prize money for plastic surgery in South Korea. He'd been bullied for his looks since he was young. Then Nan shared that she felt she let her grandma down by not getting into her dream school, which made her grandma sick. She hoped winning in esports would make her grandma proud. After their chat, Wang Zhe's team felt more united and excited for the upcoming competition. The next day, Shou Cheng took the team to a new training base he had set up. Besides teaching teamwork in games, Shou Cheng also made sure they stayed fit with regular workouts. Through these activities, Wang Zhe and Shou Cheng became closer. A few days later, Shou Cheng gathered the team and explained that in the sports competition they were joining, there were 16 groups competing for the highest score to reach the finals. At the same time, Jin Va learned about the opponents his team would face and doubted Wang Zhe's team could beat his professional recruits. On another day, Wang Zhe and his team got ready for the sports competition in the city. At their hotel, they saw all the participating teams. There, Shou Cheng reminded them not to underestimate their opponents and to focus on their strategy. Among the teams, Shou Cheng spotted the one that had beaten her before and Jin Va's recruited team. She hoped they'd meet in the finals if underestimated. On the first day of matches, Wang Zhe's team, called Family of Winner, went up against Aegis, a team of alumni from a famous university who had won in the past. Despite facing tough opponents, the Family of Winner team won thanks to their great teamwork. The next day, they kept winning, defeating each opponent, including Shou Cheng's old team. Shou Cheng's ability to predict the opponent's strategy made it easier for Wang Zhe and the others to win. They even made it to the semifinals after beating the ranker team. Seeing Wang Zhe's team succeed, Jin Va's team started to worry, realizing they were wrong to underestimate them. Unfortunately, while the Family of Winner team was gaining popularity, Wang Zhe ran into trouble. At that time, Zige was reported to the authorities for letting kids into the internet cafe, even though he only supervised boys. Meanwhile, Gao Su was competing in the esports tournament in the city. The authorities are investigating, and if Zige is found guilty, the family of winner team could be disqualified from the competition. This problem led Wang Zhe and his team to discuss the situation while having drinks. When Zige told his son to stop drinking, Wang Zhe, who was drunk, said he didn't care about esports anymore. He even revealed that he'd been fired from his job, which disappointed Zige. On another day, Shoucheng went to confront Jinva because she suspected he was the one who reported Zige to the authorities. She accused Jinva of being a cheater who tried to win esports competitions unfairly. After the meeting, Jinva scolded one of his men for slandering Zige. He didn't approve of cheating to make Wang Zhe's team lose. Then, Jinva ordered his men to clear things up so the family of winner team could continue the final match against his team. Meanwhile, Wang Zhe was upset and drunk because of his team's disqualification. Shoucheng tried to encourage him not to give up, but he didn't listen. He admitted to lying to Shoucheng about giving her the meat floss cake recipe, which he didn't have. Shoucheng said she didn't care about the recipe anymore, but Wang Zhe remained pessimistic about his team. However, when the family of winner team members gathered together, Wang Zhe regained his spirit. Sometime later, Zige's problem was solved when Jinva's men withdrew their report. With renewed determination, Wang Zhe and his teammates returned to the esports competition to face off against the Falcon team, recruited by Jinva in the final round. At the beginning of the match, the family of winners struggled against the Falcon team's strategies until Shoucheng asked for a break to regroup. Suddenly, Wang Zhe and his team came up with a new plan, and Shoucheng decided to join in after being away from esports for a while. Before the match resumed, Shoucheng took off her mask and introduced herself to the spectators, announcing that she would play with the family of winner players. With Shoucheng joining the match, things became even more intense. Luckily, Wang Zhe managed to sneak into the opponent's base while his teammates distracted the other players. With his smart moves and teamwork, they finally won. Even the opposing team and the spectators cheered for their victory. After his son's win, Zige reopened his internet cafe. Surprisingly, he had his grandfather's meat floss cake recipe, which he gave to Wang Zhe. In the end, Shoucheng and Wang Zhe became esports commentators. The film ends. The moral lesson from this film is no matter how tangled life gets, never underestimate the power of teamwork and a good underwear toss to turn things around.